Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, or if you're watching this in the morning, we're just glad you're here with us to take a little bit of time to talk about and listen about freedom to choose, and what it would look like if you had the freedom to choose what you wanted to do. And there is no better person to talk about that than my good friend, Holly Morris. Holly is a national marketing director with the Juice Plus company and just has a wealth of knowledge and experience in this space. She is a certified personal trainer and fitness instructor. She has a master's in speech and language pathology. She's taught at university. She's a mom of 2 boys. Hey, if you're a mom, you probably know a little bit about freedom and the desire for freedom to choose what you want to do, right? Because life gets busy. And she's a founding board member of the Pure Hope Foundation. So I'm so glad you're here to spend a little bit of time with us to learn about this amazing company and Holly and her family's journey and how they got to where they are today to be able to tap into their passion and have that freedom to do what they want to do. So join me in welcoming Holly Morris.
Thanks, Jessica. Appreciate that. So thanks, guys, for listening in and just allowing me the opportunity to share a little bit about my journey with this company with you. So I really want to start, though, with a question for you to think about. If you had the day tomorrow, you were just told, you know what, the calendar has been cleared, you have no responsibilities or obligations, you've got whatever money you need, time you need, resources you need, what are you going to do with your day? Like, what's that thing that brings you life and brings you energy? And you know what? It's probably kind of unique to you. Like, it's something that maybe other people are not interested in. It doesn't necessarily speak to them, but you just love it. Maybe something you're passionate about. Maybe people you want to spend time with. I don't know. What does that look like for you? What's that thing that you go, if I just had a few more hours in the day, I would love to do what? How would you fill in that blank? And then expand that a little more. What if this summer you had an entire week to do whatever it is that you really wanted to do, whatever you're passionate about? I just love that we're all made so uniquely. I really believe that we were created on purpose and for a greater purpose, even than ourselves. And I don't know about you, but I used to feel like, really investing time into those things that brought me life and energy and that I loved, I used to feel like that was kind of selfish, or a lot of times I felt like maybe it was irresponsible. I thought, I really should be spending that time doing something for my children or my husband or family, community, church, whatever that might look like. And what I learned over time is that actually if I would spend a little bit of time doing those things that I loved and that filled my cup and that I was passionate about, it actually gave me more energy, more life to give more to the people and things that I felt responsible to. And so what's interesting too is that my family actually loved seeing me step into those things that I was passionate about as well. And they saw that my cup was full and I had more to pour out and to give. And so today, we're just going to talk about intentional living. When we sit down and we look at our calendar, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Nobody gets less, nobody gets more, and we're looking at our planner and what we have to do, what we need to do, what we want to do. We've got to figure all that out. How does it fit in together? And if we can just be intentional with a little bit of our time to pour into things that we love and that we're passionate about, that can begin to expand and to grow to where we can do it more and more. And I'm going to share how that's happened for me tonight. And so when I asked myself that same question that I asked you, that I started with, and I'm going to share what that was in a little bit later. But when I asked myself that question, it was like, what do I need to make that happen? And so I want you to ask yourself that as well. Whatever you said, maybe you want to paint, maybe you want to travel, maybe you want to give more to a certain organization, maybe you want to start a nonprofit. I don't know what it is for you, but what do you need to be able to do that? And so for me, there were kind of 4 things that I needed. One was great health. Another was a supportive community. I needed time freedom and financial flexibility. And so we're going to dive into that a little bit. I needed great health because the bottom line is if we're not healthy, then we spend a ton of our time, our money, our energy, our resources just trying to feel well enough to do the things we love, right? If you're sick and tired, then you're not feeling well enough to do the things you love anyway. And so I have had severe asthma and allergies since I was a child. This was a picture of allergy testing I had done actually not too long ago. And I'm highly allergic to pretty much everything. And so there was a point in my life where I was personal training, a group fitness instructor. Physically, I was in the best shape I'd ever been in my life. I was pursuing health. I wanted to be healthy so bad. And yet, more days than not, I felt terrible. I had no energy. My adrenals were shot. I had chronic sinus infections. I struggled with breathing, allergy struggles, as well as asthma, attacks. And so it was just a struggle. And so the only thing my parents knew to do growing up was to medicate me. And that's what I did as a young adult as well. And so it wasn't until this point in my life where I was really pursuing health. I'd had my first child. He was on the same path I was on with severe asthma and allergies. He's a baby on the breathing machine, fairly often. And so another mom simply introduced this product to me, Juice Plus. And it's just food. And it's completely unique. There is nothing like it on the marketplace because it is simply food and it's backed by research. No one has the research behind it that Juice Plus has, proving all the benefits that it would do in your body, one of those being balancing your immune system. And so even though I was pursuing health, I knew that I wasn't eating enough fruits and vegetables. As much as I was trying, I just wasn't getting enough in to help my immune system battle the asthma and allergies that I dealt with. And so I started taking the product, and that, along with other simple changes, slowly I began to get off all the daily meds, started to feel better, have more energy. And so all of a sudden I started feeling well enough to truly pursue the things I was passionate about. So that was the first thing for me. And I don't know where your health is, but I do know that better produce helps everybody. It doesn't matter who you talk to, what medical professional or research base, it doesn't matter. Everyone is saying we need more produce in our body. So that was a huge blessing for me. And then I also knew to pursue what I loved, I needed a supportive community. And you guys, this is our president, Jay Martin. And have you ever heard a company president say that his vision for his entire company is to help as many people as possible realize their dreams? He wrote his vision statement for us. He wanted to help me realize my dreams. That's awesome. I've never heard of a company president having that kind of a vision. And so I just love, and what I found in this Juice Plus community is people who would be truth tellers, dream keepers, vision casters. There's a lot of people in your life who will give you an opinion about what they think you should or shouldn't do with your life or in your life. But there aren't many people who will give you vision, who will help you hold your dreams, who will believe in you when you're questioning yourself. And that is what I found in this community. And I'm going to also share more about that a little bit later, how that played out in my life. But it is the most amazing community of people who will help and encourage you to pursue those exact things that interest you and that you are passionate about, and help equip you the personal growth and development that happens around that, and will cheer you on even whenever, like I said, maybe you feel like you're not sure. And I don't know, have you guys seen the new Captain Marvel movie that's out? I'm a boy mom, so we see all the superhero movies. And we saw that the other day. And there's a scene that I love. So in the beginning, she is so full of passion and purpose, and she knows exactly what she's doing with her life. And then partway through the movie, she kind of starts to question that. And she's not sure exactly who she is, and, if she's really pursuing the right things, or, what she's supposed to be doing. And one of her true friends comes up to her and looks her in the eyes, and she says, "Let me tell you exactly who you are." And she reminds her, she's her truth teller, like I said, her dream keeper. And she reminds her of who she is and how she was called and created on purpose to live into this passion that she has and that's fueling her spirit and her soul. And so I just love that part of that movie, because I thought that's exactly what I found in this Juice Plus community. And so the other things that I said were, time, freedom, and financial flexibility. And again, I don't know what your passion is, but chances are it probably requires some of your time. Even if, for example, you said painting, I would love to paint if I had extra time. That's my passion. Well, it's going to take some of your time and some of your finances and resources to purchase everything you need and get the great equipment, right? So we need that to pursue our passions and dreams. And for me, I only knew about the first two options really, or I only felt like I could go into these first two options. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but this is Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. And so most of us fall into this left-hand side where we are an employee or we're self-employed. So we either have a job or we own a job. And with those two options, we trade time for money. And remember how we only have 24 hours in a day, and we have to sleep and we have to take care of things. You know, we have the other things we have to do too. So it ends up there's only so many hours a day. Even when we stretch ourselves, even when we try to put some more hours into work, again, there's just so many that we can do. So that means there's only so much money really to be earned. And so for most of us that fall into those two categories, it's just hard sometimes to feel like there's enough. You know, it never feels like we can work enough hours to have the financial flexibility that we want to have to maybe give as much as we want to give to people, or save as much as we want to save, or travel, or do the things that we love. And so we feel a little restricted and confined. Now, if we could find a way to go over into this right side to become a business owner where we own a system and people work for us, or where we can be an investor and our money works for us. So in these two columns, you're no longer trading time for dollars. You're being paid for time that you're not actually putting in. And so the thing is that for most people to become a business owner, it takes a lot of upfront cash. It usually typically is brick and mortar. It's very risky. You know, most business owners know that they need to expect not to get a paycheck the first 3 to 5 years. And that's hard. That is hard for most families to think of not taking an income for 3 to 5 years to get that business up and going. Like I said, there's a lot that goes into it, employees. It's very risky to do it. But if you can do it and do it well, it can pay very well. But so what if there are thousands of retailers, unfortunately, that are going to be closing their doors because people are doing so much online and virtually now? You know, the number one retailer in the world is Amazon. You know, the largest hotel chain doesn't own a single hotel. It's Airbnb. Same thing with transportation. Uber and Lyft are taking over. They don't own a vehicle. So the world is starting to move to this virtual reality place, you know, where people are creating businesses and they're earning income 24 hours, but actually don't have to have that huge investment of that brick and mortar. And that's exactly what we do with our Juice Plus franchise. We're global. We can run 24 hours a day. We're all over, and yet we can do it all from our smartphone and our computer. And so when we can start to create more income, that allows us then to be able to be an investor into what's important to us. So whatever is important to you, what if you could start to invest more of your time and your energy and your resources into that? And this business can be the vehicle that allows you to do that. And so that's pretty exciting. And so I don't know what your story is right now. You know, what's cool about our stories is that we get to decide where to put a comma and where to put the period. And so wherever you may have a period and feel like, you know, this is just kind of how it is for me, you can erase it. You can erase it and you can create the story that you want. I love this quote from Jim Rohn. He says, you can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And so it's up to you. With a little bit of intention, with a little bit of your time, you can start to have a huge investment opportunity. And so it's real. It's the real deal. And I'm going to share with you more about that in a second. But, you know, just like our Juice Plus product is so unique, there's nothing like it on the market. So is our business and our franchise. And so I want you to pretend like you've gone into a job interview and you've really thought about what you want. And this is what you tell the employer. They ask you, you're lucky. They ask you, what is it that you're looking for in a business? And you say, I'm so glad that you asked. And you guys, I'm fixing to read something to you and you're kind of going to go, really? Really? I'm not exaggerating any of this. This is truly the marketing plan that you purchased, that system that works for you 24/7 if you decide to partner with the Juice Plus company. And so imagine this. You get to say, I want 22% commission on everything I sell and at least 15% retail profit on each sale. And I'm going to need a professional website for all my prospects and a private office of my own that I can do from my computer or my phone and track everything about my work, including my customers, my earnings, and the progress of my team. I'm going to need to set my own schedule and work only when it suits me and my family. So, for example, if I go on vacation for a month or two, I'm still going to need to be paid for that time. I also expect the company that I work for to provide me with free training that I need to become knowledgeable. I'm also going to need a dedicated team of prestigious doctors and nurses available to train me. I expect the company to manufacture the product, warehouse it, ship it to my end users, handle the payment processing, and I don't want to purchase any inventory either. And when I bring in and train new members of my team, I want to be compensated a percentage of their sales and the sales of the people that they bring in, probably like 5 to 9%, I'm thinking would be fair. I also want the opportunity to rapidly advance within the company and never be demoted. I also want the chance to earn a bonus for every promotion that I earn. And when I do well, it's kind of my love language. I'm going to get a lot of praise and recognition. I'd also like to get a bonus when I help other people get their promotions too. I also want my family members and friends and the people that I choose to be able to work here. And if I do well and I prove myself, I'm also going to need an expense allowance, probably about $3,000 a month, to help me build my business globally. I also want tuition reimbursement for myself and my immediate family members and a Christmas bonus, because you know how it is. Christmas is expensive. And just last thing I'm going to ask for here is a full benefits package. You know, for my whole family, medical, dental, vision, long-term health care, chiropractic care, those kinds of things. I'm hoping that's not too much. And, you know, I want to show you this is a two-way street. So in exchange for that, I'm willing to give you $50 a year. What do you think? Do we have a deal? I mean, that sounds crazy, right? To read it all out like that. But I want to tell you, it's the real deal. That is the advantage, and that is the business model that the Juice Plus company offers us. And I never thought in a million years that this is the franchise that I would choose to partner with and the business that I would be doing. But I'm so, so thankful that I said yes to giving it a try, to choosing to be intentional with a little bit of my time, because the benefits have been huge. And so I want to share with you a little bit of my story. And so initially, this company for me was for play. It was play money. Later it became provision and then passion. And so I kind of want to share that with you. So, you know, at first I really just wanted to get my Juice Plus product covered. I wanted my entire family on it. So I love the idea that that product could be covered, the expense of that. And, you know, if we could have a little bit of play money, like money that we could give more to the things that we wanted to give to, that we could travel more. And our family was able to go to Peru one Christmas and visit our good friends who were there as missionaries and take Christmas to children in need. And that happened because we were able to save up enough to invest in something that was really important to us, invest in a moment and a memory that we'll treasure forever. And so it was just so awesome. My husband had a great job. You know, it allowed me to stay home with the kiddos, and it allowed us to have some play money. And so that was huge. It was awesome. And we loved the product so much, we continued to share. And I think a lot of times, you know, we really think that our corporate jobs, you know, a six-figure corporate job is security. But, you know, you just never know. And there was a day when my husband got the phone call that that company was closing down. And, you know, company car had to be turned in. And all of a sudden, this company, this business that we said yes to as a little side thing became provision for us. And it allowed us the freedom to take the time to choose. So he didn't have to rush into the next job that came along. He was able to take his time and choose the job that he wanted because we had provision. And so that was a really great gift, a lot of freedom that gave us to choose the job that he really wanted. And then fast forward a little bit, and all of a sudden we got to live a life of passion because of this job. And that's the part I want to share with you next. So as I was doing this business, I knew of another woman in this business, and her name was Catherine Lee. She was an incredible trainer. I'd heard her trainings many times and learned from her, and she was coming through a town that I lived in, and she was doing a talk on leaving a legacy, designing your life and leaving a legacy. And so I wanted to go and hear her talk. And so went, and she was talking about legacy. So often we think it's huge, giant decision, and that's your legacy. But really our legacy is the daily. It's who we are every day. It's the decisions that we make every day. It's how we treat others. It's how we treat our family, our neighbors, our community. That's really our legacy. It's how we live into our passions and our purpose. And as we do that in small ways, just in our daily decisions, sometimes that can lead to bigger faith to do bigger things. And this is her book, Interrupted. You can get it on Amazon, and it's such a great, easy read, and it shares more of the details of her story. But they were traveling. They had their home in California on the market, and they were traveling throughout the U.S. Looking to do this dream. And she shared this vision board. And I don't know if you do a vision board, but I would encourage you to do it because it's so neat to see things that are just cut out from magazines that are dreams of yours or passions of yours start to become reality when you focus on them and when you visualize them. And so this was her dream board, and she had, Pure Hope Ranch, and she wanted an extended stay home to restore and equip and revive women who had been victims of trafficking, to have a retreat center, a conference center for rest and relaxation, equine therapy, ecotherapy, ropes courses, things like that. And so I'm hearing her talk about this, and I'm just like, wow, good for her, good for her that she is pursuing that and doing that. And so my initial thought was, what if I could create a little more, financial flexibility for us, and we could give more, to help her get this up and going. And so that was my initial thought. But remember how I said this community are also your dream keepers? Well, about 6 years before I met Catherine, saw this vision board that she had, I had shared with some of my Juice Plus team and community that Ryan and I, our dream, if time and money and resources, all of that weren't an obstacle, we could do whatever we wanted with our lives. We wanted to have a retreat center. We love family camp. It was such a huge part of our growth and development growing up and with our young family. And so we just thought, how awesome would that be if we could have ropes courses and do leadership retreats and have a retreat center and pour back into others and give back to them in the way that was so important to us. And so that was kind of a dream we had spoke out, about 6 years before I saw this. And I kind of didn't make that connection until my dream keeper said, you guys have got to talk. You guys have got to talk. I think your dreams are aligning and your visions are aligning, and you guys could use each other. And so our families met, and we began to dream together about living our passions out together. And so 3 years ago, because of this company, because of our faith, because of the time and financial freedom and flexibility we had, the benefits for our family, we had full benefits for our family of 4, we took a leap. And we left corporate America, and 3 years ago moved to a little town. And this is our Hope Home. We have had it up and running now for 2 years with women in the home. And it is so incredible every day to get to wake up and just live into our passions. And do you remember one of the things on that vision board I just shared with equine therapy? Well, just a few weeks ago, our horses arrived. And so to see those visions become reality and those dreams become a reality because of a yes to this business, this franchise, a little bit of intentional effort has been huge. And so I just want to encourage you, I don't know what you said when we started this call, but rise up, live into it, shine into it, because when you pour into that, again, that cup fills up and you can pour more into others. And this is a quote from John Maxwell. Well, I won't say a quote. I probably didn't quote it exactly, but a concept that I thought was so profound. And he said, all forward progress, anything we want to do that moves us forward takes effort and intention. If you want to move forward with your finances, with your health, if you want to be better in any of those things, it takes intention and effort. Everything that just happens without intention and effort, death, debt, disease, it's all backwards. It's all moving backwards. And that's what will happen if we don't step up and live intentionally into this life that we have. And so that was profound to me. And so I just want to end by just saying, just imagine, what great accomplishments we would have in this world if we all lived intentionally in pursuit of what our passions are. So thanks for letting me share tonight. I'm going to turn it back over to Jessica.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Holly. I was taking notes as you were talking, and I just kind of want to share a couple little things that you said, just to kind of recap and just kind of wrap this all up real quick. One of the things that you started with, which I think is such an important exercise that so many of us don't do or just don't take that time to do, is just ask ourselves, what would you do that would fill your cup up if time and money were not a barrier? And that can be a tough question because you actually have to sit down and dream a little bit, right? And kind of write some things down. So that really stuck out to me. Another one, John Maxwell's quote, all forward progress takes effort and intention, which made me think, well, what are we doing on a day-to-day basis, right? What is actually important? Or are there things that are not that important that we could take off of our list, put a little intention to a company like Choose Plus so we can fulfill those dreams? And then leaving a legacy and finding a means and a partner to do that. And what Catherine Lee and you guys are doing at the Pure Hope Foundation is just awesome. And I know so many of us have so many different passions out there, and Juice Plus is just an amazing company with an amazing business plan and an amazing product that it just makes sense, right? So I encourage you guys who are watching this to go back and touch base with whoever it is that invited you to this call. Thank you for sticking with us along the way. And we look forward to partnering with you and locking arms with you on this journey with this amazing company. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.